Alright, so here's a little help file on dealing with missing values in our mini survey data. Basically, the reason that we have any concern that there are missing values is that for each case for which there's a missing value in any analysis that includes that case, it'll be omitted. Things, especially like multiple regression or something like that, um, you end up losing a lot of cases if you have a few um, missing values scattered around a number of different variables. So what I've done here is I've highlighted the cases that are the cases that had something missing with yellow highlighting, and I just did that by hand. There was no magic formula, although I could have made some sort of conditional uh, if statement sort of thing that would have done that, but I was feeling lazy and there weren't that many cases. Um, what I've gone ahead and done is I've calculated the mean, which for this variable where something missing is 1.652174, the median in the mode. And just to kind of think about, these are all central tendencies of this variable, and kind of a cheap and dirty way to deal with missing values is substitute a central tendency. And then for linear sorts of variables, oftentimes the mean would be a good choice. In this case, we have kind of these ordered levels in terms of our Likert scales, and in that case, sometimes maybe the median might be superior. One advantage of the mean is that if you substitute the mean, it'll be 1.652, which is obviously not one of the choices, and you can clearly see which ones were substituted. In this case, just for our purposes here, I'm highlighting them by hand. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put an equation here that for these cases where they are being substituted, instead of putting the value there, I'm going to put equals to the median here. And I'm going to make the 29 stay in place there by putting a $sign in front of it and make it an absolute reference. And that means that I can copy this and paste it in each of these subsequent spots, regardless of which row it's in. And it's always going to be grabbing the value from row 29 for that particular column. Right, so I can come here and I can substitute that in, and then here when I substitute it, we'll see it changes, and here. Okay, and so here, this one, this one, this one, and you can see these ones here, these questions were how much you use this different statistics software, and probably the best guess is actually the median rather than the mean in that case, because only one person here used that. So anyways, probably the dominant category here, if someone left it blank, they probably haven't used it. Let me see, let's drag this over a little bit. And I can fill these across and it'll still work, so I don't have to just paste, paste, paste. I can do a whole row of them like that. I can go and, oops, I need to recopy. So I can copy any of these, paste it in here, and it'll work. And it'll keep grabbing the observation from the 29th cell. So I need to copy this, put it in there. Okay, and so at the end of this, I'm going to have a data set that is almost all values. Something I should say is that I calculated the mean, median, and mode before I started making these changes. If you hadn't, you'd get a circular reference warning. So instead, what you want to do is copy and paste the values here instead of the formulas for the mean, median, mode. And that's what I already did. And so that's why we see that there. Let's see, here's a couple more that I hadn't highlighted. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it there. And you can see I'm pasting the formatting at the same time, which is kind of convenient. Boom. Okay, hold on. Okay, and then we have a case here, computers at home. Someone listed 3 or more. I'm just going to go ahead and change that to a 3. I know it could be more than that, but for our purposes, it's we have low, medium, and high, more or less. Okay, and I'll look along here, see if there are any more missing cases. There are a couple, so I'm going to go ahead and copy the formatting and the rule to look for the value from the 29th row. From here, I'm going to paste it into the remaining items. Now this was not very efficient. I wouldn't do this if I had a lot of cases, but for our purposes, I think this will work. And we could talk about how to automate these sort of steps later. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy everything in this sheet like this, copy, and then I'm going to, is this sheet empty? No, it's not. I'm going to go and add yet another sheet. I'm going to paste special, so right click and then click paste special words. And then I'm going to click on formats, okay, and then I'm going to click on paste special values, okay. And so then I got my highlighting and I got my numbers, but I didn't get my formulas, which I appreciate. And so now this data set here, I'm going to go ahead and clear this stuff off of the bottom, clear contents because I don't need it anymore. And now I'm ready to do some analysis on this data. And so this would be a good starting point for that. So pretty much we're done processing the data in terms of missing cases and stuff. Going to get ready to start doing a next step, which would be constructing an index, which I'll make a brief video about here in a second.